Welcome back to the DNX show, and today we're going to be doing our predictions for the RedBud National. All right, so Doc, what is your bold prediction for the 450 class?
Remember, it's RedBud, it's America, it's America's day or weekend. So, what's more American than Aaron Plessinger getting his first moto win?
Do you think he can back it up and get the overall?
Hey, listen. Let's not get to the end of the segment here. Okay, let's start here. We'll move to linear. Right.
All right. For my bold prediction, I have the legend himself, Caroli, getting a top 10. All right. I think it's possible. I just watched him at Great Britain, the MXGP race, and he was actually riding really good. He got a top 10 there. I think with a phenomenal start, which he on that Ducati is very capable of, I think he can get a great start, fade 8, 9, finish 8, 9, and 10, get a top 10. It's going to happen. Stamp it, mark it down. I guarantee it.
I can see him doing really good. I mean, I could also see him getting like 22nd, but I could also see him doing like 8th. You know what I mean? Like I can see him doing really good. So I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, I think it's possible. Okay, so now flipping to the 250s. What's your bold prediction for the 250s?
We're gonna have a Levi Kitchen showing, a big one with the top qual, kind of like reasserting some top speed. You know, do I think it'll translate to the motos? Top qual. Okay.
Okay, so I originally had Ty Masterpool pulling a whole shot in one of the motos as my bold prediction. However, it came out today that he's going to be missing this weekend due to a practice crash. So with that being said, my 250 bold prediction is Austin Forkner will get a top 10. I'm looking at his results this year, and they aren't great. I'm going to read them off from the beginning. 31st, 16th, 18th, 22nd, 16th. A top 10 would be extremely bold, and I believe he can do it this weekend at RedBud. All right, so now moving on to our next segment, which is the biggest flop of the weekend. And let's stay in the 250 class here. And I'll go with mine first, all right? And that is kind of some breaking news that we had this literally yesterday. It goes with this guy, and that is Tom Vial, all right? We'll get into that breaking news here and everything moto. But for Tom Vial, I think it's a 5th or worse. So that's my biggest flop. I think with that news coming out, he might struggle. And I think potentially we might see him kind of just not ride that great for the rest of the year because of what's going to happen with that news and him going to MXGP. So don't be surprised if it's 5th or worse.
Yeah, so I also had Tom. First of all, it's so strange going back to MXGP. So odd. Anyway. But I also had Tom, and I also had like a 5th or worse. That would be a flop for someone of his caliber.
Like Tom Vial just got 2nd. He should be right there next to Deegan, hypothetically. And it's not happening. And I think a lot of the other guys are finding they get screwed finally. Like you mentioned, Levi Kitchen. You know, we might have a Master Pool showing because he's really good at RedBud. You also have maybe a Seth Hammaker showing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a Michael Mosman, you know? So I think it's very, very possible that Tom Vial gets 5th or worse. Okay, but now, what about your 450?
Again, somebody that did really well last week that I'm going to say a 5th is also a flop is Hunter. You know, like that top 5 is moving around a lot, and he's got a lot of momentum. I don't know. I see some red, white, and blue rising to the top on this one, okay? And I think RJ is going to do really, really well. Obviously, I said AP is going to do well. I think Tomac will do well. Jet's going to do well. So I kind of think that puts him right in that 5th place somewhere in there, you know?
I think everybody's going to hate me for my biggest flop this weekend. And
if you say
I am going to say it's 5th or worse, similar to what you said in our 250s, okay? But it is going to be Eli Tomac. And there's a there's a reason for that, okay? Because we have Chase Sexton coming back. We have Jet Lawrence on fire. We have Hunter Lawrence on fire. And you mentioned it, RJ, AP, little showing, you know. Tomac maybe gets a bad J Coop. You know, he actually had a podium moto last year. And so maybe Tomac gets a horrible start and he has to fight all the way up. And maybe he gets stuck in that 5-6 range in each moto because those guys are ripping. Yeah. So I think it's, I mean, we're not even talking about Prado either. You know, Prado possibly has a chance to do that. So I think it's honestly a pretty good, a pretty good choice to putting him fifth or worse.
Stop.
Doc absolutely hates it.
I don't really know what else to say. I'm just upset. I mean, like, I'm upset because
it might be true.
Yeah, it might be true. I'm upset. Stop. Move on. Next segment. Move on.
All right, so now moving on to our head-to-heads, and this is brought to you by Next Bets. And if you guys want to play all these 450 head-to-heads, all you guys have to do is go to the link in the description below at nextbets.com/playdnx to play. And for this week 450 head-to-head matchup, we are going with Jorge Prado versus Antonio Caroli. And now we mentioned this a little bit a couple weeks ago with Prado struggling and the news of Caroli coming in, like, could possibly Caroli beat him? After I watched Southwick, I don't think that's possible. Okay. Now, I was listening to some podcasts, some interviews, and Prado said the bike still is dog shit, and he just is a great sand rider, and that's why he did so well. But I think that's not. I think the bike is better, and I think he's better, and I think he's going to get like a top 5 at RedBud and beat Caroli.
I think we're going to go momentum here, okay? We're going to go based off of vibes, okay? Tony, incredible rider, like one of the greats, right? So very capable. He is older than me, which is pretty old. But what we're going to go off of is that Ducati's here, the vibes are going to be at an all-time high. There's really no pressure, right? While Prado, vibes aren't very high. Okay, even after last week, I know he doesn't feel great, like you just said. I think Tony pulls it off.
Could you imagine if he actually did, how much, what's the right term? I wouldn't say hate, but slack that Prado would get because of that? From just the US guys, maybe even the GP guys, like fans I'm talking about, like, that cannot happen, like, at all.
I think it's possible. I mean, like, I don't know fitness-wise where Tony is and, like, all that stuff.
He's good.
I mean, I would assume it's not an issue. Now, Prado has been to this track before. He has some experience, but so is Tony, right? You know,
true.
Like, so I don't know. I think he could. I think just based off vibes, there's no pressure. We're debuting something. It could be really fun. I think Tony gets done.
I do think he gets a top 10.
I think it's gonna be like 12th.
Okay, that's
I think
so
it's
bad.
Gonna be like, I think it'd be
you think
like,
Prado will be like outside of top 12?
Brother, have you watched?
He's better than 12. I have too.
But have you
like,
watched the same season I
yes,
watched?
but I think the momentum from Southwick is going to carry him a little bit.
Momentum, momentum, you know.
All right. I mean, that's going to be interesting. If that happens,
I mean, it'd be cool, but
it'd be insane. It would be gnarly. Okay, talking about 250s now for our head-to-heads. We're going to do a little teammate battle here. And this is Ty Masterpool versus Seth Hammaker. And they finished 8-9 at Southwick, Hammaker, Masterpool. And like I mentioned off the rip, I think Masterpool needs a little redemption ride. RedBud is a perfect place for that. And I think, honestly, Masterpool gets it done. I'm not saying Masterpool is going to go out and show out like he did last year at this track. I think more likely it's going to be a 5, 6, 7 spot, and Hammaker is going to be right there, right behind him. But I think Masterpool in this head-to-head matchup gets it done.
yeah, I can see that. Makes a lot of sense. However, no. We're gonna go Seth Hammaker. Okay, we're gonna turn this season around. We're gonna get a top 5. Okay.
Okay. He needs it. He needs it.
He needs it. We're turning this around. Season hasn't been bad, but in comparison to the Soupy season, yeah, hasn't been ideal. So we're gonna go top 5 turnaround.
Okay, so now going into our placements, and today we're going to be doing 8th place, which is kind of tricky because there's so many guys that can get 8th place, all right? Let's stay in the 250s. I'm going to go with a guy that had a lot of great success at Southwick, and that is Mikael Harp. I think the momentum from Southwick is going to carry him to do great at RedBud. And now when I say great, that's 8th place. But I also think he could go higher, but I think it's more realistic getting 8th right now.
Ooh, I almost picked that. I almost picked him, to be honest. I did. I think it's a great choice. It was either Mikael Harp or Max Volan, and I decided to go with Max Volan.
Max Volan's going to be a good choice.
He's around there. I don't know. RedBud vibes are high. He strikes me as one that the RedBud is gonna like, help the vibes.
I think Max is having a great year just in general with the circumstance
Agreed.
that he's had to deal with that handbrake. So
Yeah.
if he gets an 8th, that's pretty good. And I think by the end of the year, maybe he can get a top 5. So
Agreed.
Okay, so now what about your 450 8th place?
This might be a little bit of a bold one where we're going to have a showing from Hercules. And now that I told you earlier that momentum doesn't mean anything, we're going to go momentum means a lot here. And we're going to go that he's going to ride that momentum from Southwick and improve and end up 8th overall. That'd be great.
That'd be honestly insane if he gets an 8th place. Harry can definitely do it, though. I think there's just too many factory guys in the field right now for him to get an 8th place. But I can definitely see it. However, I am going to go with one of those factory guys, okay? And that is Malcolm Stewart. Going back to High Point, he got uppercutted from Mike Tyson. Didn't finish that race. Southwick started in the back, got roosted. He just ate roost all day. I think he went like 13-10, I think. Don't quote me. Maybe 13-11. And I think he needs a little bounce back ride. Maybe go 7-8, 7-6 for 8th overall, because somehow that math adds up somehow. But I think Malcolm Stewart gets 8th place. All right, so now let's jump into our podiums and let's talk about the 250 podium. All right, so Doc, who do you have?
Okay, so we've talked about Ty Masterpool. We've talked about Seth Hamaker. We've talked about Levi Kitchen, but we haven't talked about Garrett Marchbanks. Okay, Garrett Marchbanks is going to get a podium and get P3. Okay, that's just happening. Book it, ship it, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to have Levi Kitchen P2, and then Deeks. Deeks is going to win by like 12 seconds each moto.
Damn, 12 seconds each moto. Put a freaking ass whooping on them. Okay, I like it.
Of course he's
I mean, it's most likely going to happen. But, okay, so for my podium.
12 seconds is like not even that big
He's
considering
going to have 12
season.
seconds in the second lap. So, okay, so for my podium, yeah, mine's way different than yours. All right.
That's good. This is how I make points.
So for third place, I got Joe Schmoda. I think he personally can be the second best guy on any given weekend. He hasn't been showing it as of late. I mean, second moto Southwick, but he's always good at Southwick, so like I kind of expected that. I think he needs a little bounce back ride, and what I mean by that is he got 5th, so I think a podium is going to be good for him. Second place, it's going to be his first podium of the year. That's going to be Michael Mosiman. He gets it done at RedBud. He's had a couple bike malfunctions, all right, and that's been chalking him, a crash at Hangtown that chalked him the overall. And I think it happens at RedBud. I think he has 2 good starts. I think he's going to be maybe second, third, battling with the boys, and he gets that second place, maybe a third place. He'll most likely be a third, but I like a second here. And then for first place, I got Levi Kitchen. I'm just kidding. Levi's not winning. Hayden Deegan's going to dominate once again. Let's be real. He might go 10-1 this year, and he might get literally 80% of the moto wins, which most likely is going to happen this year. So, yeah, Deegan's definitely dominating. Let's be real. Okay, so now going to 450s. What do you have for 450 podium?
I hate your prediction of Tomac being a flop. However, yeah, he's going to get third. I hate this. We're going to go with third, okay? And then we're going to go Jet Lawrence P2. He's finally going to get beat in an overall, and it's going to come from Aaron Plessinger. Now, before you guys say glaze, this is the first time I've put AP on the overall, and I've been waiting for RedBud to do that because he's good here. He feeds off of energy and confidence, and it's America, baby. And he's gonna be like just vibing and feeling good. And I forget who said it on the broadcast last week at Southwick. Like, AP was riding incredible. He just looks like someone that's not naturally gifted in the sand like some of the other guys. Kind of totally agree with that. However, on dirt, but he's been ripping. Okay, I'm telling you, you take Thunder Valley where he was battling for the win, but then you get the vibes of July 4th. Ooh, podium, or not even a podium, a win, baby. You know?
Hey, that might legit happen. I doubt it, but that might happen.
Hey,
all right.
Calm down. You know, a little 2-1 action.
Hey,
Man,
I can definitely see it.
1-1.
Dude, I can see him pulling hole shot and leading for a little bit too. So for my podium, I have Justin Cooper in third. I think he finally
Great
gets
choice.
back on that box. He actually rode fantastic at Southwick. The broadcast didn't really show him enough to get like good clips of him, but he was buried in both motos and made it all the way back up into some great finishing. I think he went 6-4 for fourth overall, which is fantastic. So I think he gets on the box at RedBud. He's actually pretty good here too. He got a podium moto last year, like I mentioned. So I think that happens. All right. For second place, we got a guy that's coming back from being banged up, and that is Chase Sexton. All right. He's going to go out there and get second place. He might go 2-2 on the day. You know, he might go 3-2 on the day, and Jay Coop goes 2-3 on. I don't know what's going to happen, honestly, but he's going to get second. All right. For first place, I got a guy that's 20 out of 21, and that is Jed Lawrence. And he's going to make it 21 out of 22. And there's no way anybody's beating this guy right now where he's at. I'm just going to be honest. All right. So,
I forgot about Sexton. I'll just be honest. However, I don't change anything on my podium.
obviously, where's his fitness? You know, he's missed 6 rounds. He most likely took 4 weeks off the bike. You know what I'm saying? So, like, where's his fitness? Where's his racecraft? You know, he really only got like half. We got 6 laps in at Paula. So, like, I don't know, honestly. But I'm rooting for him, all right? He's going to get second. We got a bunch of bold predictions from you guys on Instagram. So I want to read some of these from you guys, okay? And some of these are freaking bold, Doc, all right? You're going to get a kick out of half of these, I think, personally. Okay, so Jax Anderson hole shot. I like that. I like that.
I don't like that.
Jax again.
Get a grip.
Anderson top 8. I don't know if that's bold. He's basically right there anyway. So
That's like
I don't know if he's sick though, because he was sick at
he's
Southwick.
10
So
points.
yeah, but he was sick at Southwick, so he DNF basically both motos.
Right. True.
Shaky. He said Levi Kitchen 1-1. Woo,
Diabolical take.
woo, it's crazy.
Diabolical take.
Shout out to the boy Jake. He said Jet last to first. I don't know if that will ever happen because Jet's way too damn good at hole shots.
I was gonna say he gets too good at starts. But next, nice try.
Johan Prado top 5. I like that. I like that. Momentum carried. Joby.
Hey, then that means Cairoli's getting a podium.
Joby says Chase comes back and wins the overall.
Honestly, it's like 50-50, right? Like Chase might be so mid and get, mid for Chase and get like 5th, or he might, he's not beating Jet, bro. He's not beating Jet.
It's very odd him coming back midway because, yeah, the expectations are honestly still the same. Top 3 or it's a bust, in my opinion. So I don't know.
It's
I
so
don't
weird.
know. I still think the pressure's on him, to be fair. He might not think that, but
Yeah,
I think if he gets 5th or 6th, people are going to be like, why'd you even come back?
facts. That's why I'll be Monday morning. I'll be saying it. You know what I mean?
All right. Bentley says Tomac outside of the top 5, which
All right, calm down.
I think it's going to happen. Prado top 3 by Ebby. I don't know about that. Bentley also says Chase Sexton wins. So a lot of Chase Sexton wins. We also have like 5 from Bentley here. He says Prado podium, Tomac places on the podium, Sexton wins on moto, Sexton on the podium. So we got a bunch from
like
Bentley.
9 people on the podium.
Pedersen says Mikel Harp goes 3-3. So I like that. I don't know if that's possible, but I like that. Sam says Sexton struggles in quotations. Like we said, 5-6 is a struggle, I would assume. Masterpool gets a moto podium by Nick. I like that.
Possible. So
shouts to the boy Jordan. He says Cairoli pulls the whole shot and does a big scrub on the first lap. I think I mentioned that in our bold prediction. So shouts to the boy Jordan. And then
he has to scrub.
He has to scrub. It's
doesn't
whole shot
so like
and scrub. It can't be both.
Okay.
It has to be both.
He can't just get a whole shot. He can't just crank one mid lap.
Nope, it has to be both.
Get the whole shot.
Max says swole podiums on a moto. I think that's actually very possible.
Very possible.
BK says Sexton comes back and goes 2-1 for the overall with a laughing, crying emoji. So I don't. He's just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Hayden says Chase beats Eli, which I have.
Possible. Yeah.
I'm so intrigued to see how this race is going to go. Chris says Chase makes it last lap pass on Jet and goes 2-1 on the day. That's crazy to think that that's going to happen. He couldn't do that last year or 2 years ago.
That would be crazy. If
and then
Sexton comes back and wins, that'd be nuts.
And then 3100 Youngin, he says in the last one, he says AP 1-1. So
get that guy a DNX shirt.
All right, so if any of these actually hit, I might reach back out to one of you guys and maybe give you guys a little DNX merch, you know, if one of these hit. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for all the love on all the videos. Make sure you guys check out Everything Moto tomorrow because there's some spicy news happening this week. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And then we'll have the watch party and reactions on Saturday for the race. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for the love. Hit the like and sub button. We're out.